Hello, everyone. Welcome to the HireMyVA Team and Business Building Podcast, where we help you to reclaim your freedom through hiring and thriving with virtual assistants without breaking the bank. And of course, that means your bank. I'm Dave Braun. I'm here with Larry Broughton, who's my partner in all things coaching, great business mentor, helps me coach in life, walking with me as a brother through life's up and downs. Larry, say hi.
Hi, I'm Johnny Cash. Hello, David.
How are
Handsome
you, man?
Dave. I'm
How are you
good.
doing?
It's good to see you. Good to see you.
Good. Well, we just got another question in.
All
This
right.
is a very interesting one, and let's get into it.
Okay.
So, question is, when to promote an employee? Like, how do we determine is the right time to promote a team member? We talk about using the word team member versus employee. So,
Yeah.
how do we determine when is the right time to promote somebody that's on our team from one position where they're currently at to the next position?
Can I give you a couple of when's not the right time?
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good way to start.
I think one of the mistakes that managers and leaders make when it comes to promoting people from within is that they promote for potential. I think that they can do this when you don't have a lot of evidence that they can do it. Okay, so
Right.
that's one of the times I wouldn't promote. Another time I wouldn't promote is a threat. If a team member comes up and says to you, hey, that person was promoted in front of me. I want the promotion. I'm going to leave. I don't do well when people threaten me. But if instinctively you feel like I may lose, that's different from saying, hey, I may lose this person because they've got so much capacity. But I guess it's the nuance of how it is delivered. If somebody wants to be promoted. Conversely, let's say that somebody came up to me, Dave, and said, hey, I've got a lot of drive. I've got a lot of passion. I'm really committed to this industry. I want to learn a lot. What can I do to grow? That's different than saying, come up and making a threat that I want that promotion or else I'm going to leave. Right.
Yes,
To me,
absolutely.
that's a sign of immaturity to me. Okay. But there are kind of 3 or 4 different times I think that it's time to promote somebody, Dave. I go back to one of my default experiences is my time in special forces, time in the military. You don't get a promotion in the military based on gut feeling. I think that they'll be a good staff sergeant.
Yeah,
I think they'll be a good
good
corporal.
point. Yeah.
What they do is there's very specific checklist and trainings and skill sets that someone has to attain before they get promoted. Did you catch that?
Yeah,
They
before.
go through all this training, skill set, experiences, awards before they get promoted. The promotion is a reward for a job well done. Okay, not a reward for I think that they can do this. Sometimes it is. All right. In the corporate arena, right? So I think number one is like, yeah, they deserve to be promoted. Well, Dave, how do you know that they deserve to be promoted? Because they've shown up like it matters. They contribute to the team. They have shown a consistent pursuit of excellence. They've got the skill set, character traits, natural strengths for this position, right? So there's a track record of excellence. I think that's one of the good times to consider. And by the way, you need a position to be filled. That would be a good time to promote.
Yeah, and I think that leads us into our next one, right? And that really and you kind of touched on it, is they should really be demonstrating in some way that they can do the position. Now, that could be initiated by them, or it could be initiated by you. So, for example, you want to promote somebody from, say, a technical position or technical lead to a first level managerial role. Well, let them try managing a project that has multiple people on it, so you can see how they're working with people, how they're helping to resolve conflicts, how they're working, creating an agenda and moving the project itself forward that has multiple team members. That will give you a good idea that they can actually do the position.
I like that, Dave. And another thing I would kind of throw in there with that is, let's say that you do what you just got through describing, say, okay, go ahead and lead this project. And you start, but you can't just throw them to the wolves and expect them to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Someone has to mentor them, has to guide them, because then what you can do is you can really identify while they're in the trenches, while they're doing this, what are their strengths? What are the areas that might need some improvement? And then I would never promote someone from within the organization without setting up even if they've met all of the requirements for the job and they've shown you all this stuff, then put them on a plan to continue professional development. One of the books that we give and trainings that we do, we have this called Peak Potential Pack program in our organization. You've seen this, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
And so if you're going into an early supervisory or managerial position, then we developed a whole curriculum around, the author's name is escaping me right now, but it's called Lincoln on Leadership. And it's a great book for early managers and leaders, right? So we develop a curriculum to help them how to communicate effectively, how to take action, how to manage through conflict, like Lincoln dealt with all those kind of things, right? So I like that idea that you've got there, Dave. But it reminds me of another time too, and that is, let's say that you're growing as an organization and you feel like you've got a need in your organization, but you also have a team member that you feel like I may lose them if I don't help them reach their fullest potential.
Right.
The Gallup organization does this State of the American Workforce survey where they find that 67% of the American workforce is disengaged and actively disengaged. And one of the primary reasons why people leave an organization is they don't feel like they're being professionally developed. Most people don't come to an organization, Dave, and say, hey, I'm going to start out with this entry-level position and that's where I want to stay the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Most people want to feel good about themselves and they want to grow professionally. And so if you can create a position for them because you're growing, you have a need, and you have someone who maybe they're just not in the perfect position and they've outgrown the position that they're in and you want to keep them, maybe it's time to create a leadership or managerial position for them or supervisory position with them to give them a little bit more responsibility, to let them spread their wings, grow, stretch and grow their entrepreneurial or leadership or managerial muscle. There's nothing wrong with offering promotions like that at all. In fact, I would encourage you to do that, because take a risk on some of these early startup rock stars early on, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't promote somebody from an entry-level position and jump 3 positions into now they're going to be the general manager of this remote unit that you have. You've got to try them out a little bit. This is why I liked what you said. Have them lead or manage a project. Could be small or big, whatever it is, depend on what you do as an organization. But the thing that I just said is if you've got like a valuable team player and you feel like they're not meeting their potential, but they have the capacity to do it, that might be a time.
Yeah, definitely.
To consider as well.
One of the things is, as you were talking, earlier you started about when not to promote somebody, right? Which is really, really good. And I just thought of something I wanted to bring up is that in your organization, you're going to have people leaving in management positions. You might be thinking the perfect time to promote somebody is going to be, oh, wow, that person left. Who's the person right under them? Let me immediately promote them into that position. That may be the right thing to do because hopefully you've thought about who your bench is in all your positions in your organizations. But then again, it may not be, right?
Yeah, it may not be. This is the thing. You have to be in the weeds with the team members.
Yeah.
And sometimes what you might want to do is query your team. What's worked in the past? What are the traits of what are the traits and characteristics of a manager in this position that's really worked before? And maybe we can try to hire somebody to fill that position. Right now, as we're recording this, Dave, there's plenty of articles that are being written about the employment crisis in the country right now, trying to find positions to be filled. And that's top to bottom, entry-level positions through senior management positions. It's on one of the industry forums that I belong to. And somebody made a really good point. And it was what most people would consider a line level person who was making this comment. They said, in the post, we've been running without a manager for 4 months, and your team members have been running the business while you look for an outside candidate. It might be time to look at your team and promote from within.
Yeah.
Yeah, if your team member has been running the show and it's been going pretty good, you might have a leader right in your midst and you don't even know it. But what we have to do, Dave, I'm a big believer that when you have the opportunity, when you have the leisure to do this, is to, if you really are growing your organization, and I mean like growing it big, whatever that means to you, like multi-units, or you're over the $1 million mark, is to promote from within, as well as hiring people outside the organization. We have plenty
Yeah,
of
it's a
videos
combo.
about this, on all of the different sites that we run, because bringing in someone from outside the organization, they bring new blood, they bring new ideas, right? But also when you promote from within, then you inspire other team members, you reinforce the institutional DNA. There's good things about both of those, but the nuance of a great leader is knowing when to do each of those. And also to build your team with wise sages. These are people that are a little bit older, who have a little bit more experience, right? Maybe they're within the organization. And also what I call young Turks, people who have really creative ideas, right? Because if you can get young Turks and wise sages and new blood and old blood in the same organization, but they share the same core values, they believe in the agenda, they believe in the mission, amazing things can happen when you do that.
Yeah.
But it takes nuance and it takes courage from the leader, you as the business owner.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. And I like the idea that you brought up earlier about almost preparing ahead of time, even if you haven't done this before, but prepare a little bit ahead of time with some type of little curriculum for somebody that you may want to promote. That curriculum would be something like we talked about, something that's could be there for any position. Like you mentioned, Lincoln on Leadership, that book, right? So it doesn't matter what position it is. There's some things that you should, as a CEO or a leader in your organization, for people below you, have them go through, so that everybody is working together and on the same page, right?
Yeah, we've created basically a whole library, everything from leadership to marketing to finance.
Yeah.
And so that we know that across the organization, if someone's moving into this position, they've gone through this certain levels of training. So begin with the end in mind. I forget who said that, but if you're thinking, hey, my business is doing 100,000 today, but I want it to be doing 5 million 10 years from now, start setting those systems up now in the organization. Or maybe you're just a startup. Set those positions up as early in the organization as possible, so you create institutional DNA and expectations. And also, if you have these things, you'll be able to attract rockstar team members to your organization. Like a rockstar team member will ask, okay, let's say that you're doing $50,000 or $100,000 in revenue, but you're trying to hire someone who comes from an organization that did $15 million last year. They may come to you and say, okay, what's the path that I'm going to have? You're going to hire me for this position, but what's the path to get me to the next position, right? What systems do you have in place that's going to help me bring value to your organization?
Yeah.
Right. That's the good candidates will ask you these types of questions, right? So better to start early. And if you don't know what those are, it might be time to hire a coach or a mentor. Might be time to go through the HireMyVA program or the Victory program. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. And if you're in the program, you can hop onto our regular Q&A sessions and ask us questions about how you would develop any of this. Ask in the community. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was a great discussion. As normally, I always write something down. It's like, all right, good reminder.
Well, I'll tell you what, folks, this could be a half-day conversation. This is the stuff I love talking about. All we're trying to do is just throw out some nuggets, some tidbits to get you thinking about this. But certainly, clearly, this could be a half-day conversation with you. If you want to have these types of conversations, there are ways for you to engage with Dave and I, to engage with the team. We do have half-day and full-day strategy sessions available. You can reach out to us and ask about that. Dave and I have been hired. We can come into organizations and spend a day with your team to help you with this kind of stuff. We're entrepreneurs and leaders and high achievers, and we do this stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And we've got a lot of clients, current and past, that we do this for. This is absolutely in our wheelhouse. So we'd love to work with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shameless plug, Dave.
It's our podcast. We get to do what we want to do. So there.
Yeah. Well, listen, hey, if the goal here is to change, put your small dent in the globe through your business, which I hope it is, right? Then entrepreneurship is the way to do it. Entrepreneurship is the way to do it. Politicians aren't going to save you. Politicians are not going to create multi-generational wealth for you.
Right.
You are, right? And I've seen too many people struggle in this space, Dave. And so I want to help people create legacy through entrepreneurship and leadership.
Yeah. Okay. We are doing that.
We are doing that.
One person at a time, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, everybody, thank you for joining us today. I had a great conversation about when to promote an employee or a team member. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that we are passionate about is helping you build a team, because that's the way to reclaim your freedom. We're here to help you with our course and community, and of course, our white glove service, where we find a rockstar VA for you. So right now, we'd really love for you to do 3 things. Subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already done so. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the little bell to make sure you get notifications of a new episode. Number 2, give us a rating, preferably 5-star. Leave a comment below this video. We're going to respond and give you some help on that if you want. And then number 3 is go to HireMyVA.com for more information on our course and community. And of course, our white glove service. Remember, with even out experience, you'll learn how to prepare for, hire, and thrive with virtual assistants. Larry and I have helped a lot of folks. We'd love to help you too, not just with virtual assistants, but with their organizations in general. But to get a hold of us and to contact us, just go to HireMyVA.com for more information.
Yeah, folks, I'm going to leave you with this. It's one of my mantras. That is to do the hard right over the easy wrong. Do the hard right over the easy wrong. How often have we done what's easy but not right? It takes courage. It takes courage to do the hard right over the easy wrong. How would your life be different if you had the courage to have the tough conversations? How would your life be different if you had the courage to lean into the difficult things that you should be doing, right? Courage, my friends, just changes everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So God bless you. God keep you. God hold you. All right, my friends. Go get them. We'll see you later.
See ya.